But yeah, so Billy's fucking dead. The werecat buries him alive.
Slowly.
He
could have gotten out of there at any time.
Oh, yeah, totally. Could have got out of there.
I'm so glad that, like, Werner Herzog came on set and said, we have to watch this in real time or it's not authentic.
It has to be done in real time. You must, the werecat must show his dominance over the boy, and he must bury him like he buries a turd in his sandbox.
I bet the little boy's mom was on set too, being like, you sure are throwing a lot of dirt on my son's face.
Yeah, he's fine. He signed a waiver, right? Yeah, I guess we did sign the waiver. Yeah. Okay,
we own him.
He's good. Yeah. We own him now.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh, my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Cartridge, and my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woolscroft.
Motherfucking spookies.
Motherfucking spookies, man. Well, happy spooky season. Speaking of spookies.
There's a chill in the air. I think I heard something in the other room. I've got the spookies, baby.
You got the spookies.
Yes,
the spookies. If Yinzer talks spookies, going downtown, get the spookies. I don't do a good Yinzer, even though I live in Pittsburgh.
Yinz Jazz got spooks.
Yeah, the spooks. Go get some chip ham downtown.
Get the
spookies. Real Yinzers are going to listen to this and be like, those fucking assholes don't sound like anything.
Yeah.
But we're on episode 224, and in honor of spooky season, we figured, why not do a pantheon of utter shit on one of the weirdest fucking horror movies that I've ever seen. Mainly because of the fact that not only is this movie terrible in awesome ways, but the behind the scenes of this movie is equally as bizarre.
Yeah, it was a mess.
It is a mess. And that is 86 or 87 or 88, depending on when it was released. The Brendan Faulkner, Thomas Doran, Eugene Joseph classic Spookies. Why are there three directors? You're going to find out why.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, next week, can we do a movie that doesn't have a character named Duke in it?
Hey, now.
What are the odds? Now. What are the odds? We have two movies in a row where there's a character named Duke.
I didn't do that on purpose. And this one's not a unicorn. This one is some guy.
In an outfit that I think helps him with, like, plutonium in the future.
So I got to... Is Duke the hothead, angry person in this? Is that who it is?
He is, but like no one is threatened by him at the same time. So I think he's like a hothead badass in his own mind. You know?
Okay. Yeah. This is a fucking weird movie. This is a really fucking weird movie. When did you first watch this movie, John? Because I always ask that question because it's important to kind of put into perspective, like when we were exposed to this.
Well, it's funny you should say it because when you recommended that we do this one, I know that I've seen this movie, but when you're like, let's watch Spookies, I was trying to like bring back memories in my head. And usually, like, if I haven't seen a movie in years, like when we reviewed Leprechaun, I can still see flashes of it in my head before I watch it again. This one, I had nothing. But when I was sitting there watching it, it was almost like when you black out drunk and you wake up the next morning and you can't remember what happened, but you suddenly get like random flashes throughout the day. That's what, when I was watching this movie, I was like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Barely, I remember that, you know. So I don't know when I saw it, but it's been years and years and years.
Well, this sucker apparently aired a lot on USA Network, like back in the day. Like this was probably one of those like Joe Bob Briggs Monster Vision shows that would just play, and it was like I discovered this one. Now I probably like you, I probably watched this at some time in the early 90s. But it's one of those things that I didn't actually watch this until years later. And I mean, like, I was an adult by the time I watched this, like, and actually sat down and said, oh, I'm going to watch Spookies. And I watched it mainly because that I had been to Horror Realm, and I just talked to a bunch of people there. And a lot of people were like, oh, man, you got to watch Spookies. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? And so I found it and watched it. And I just kept going like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, that's the reaction I had to it, was just like, what the fuck am I watching? There's a little kid, there's a werecat, there's a birthday scene, there's a fucking spider person, Grim
There's
Reaper.
a Kiefer Sutherland pedophile in the woods.
There's a Kiefer Sutherland pedophile in the woods. Like, there is so much going on with this fucking movie. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So, yeah, that was my reaction of what the fuck did I just watch? While
The beginning of this movie. Yeah, the beginning of this movie did not seem like an actual... It seemed like it was a montage of first acts of other movies spliced together.
It's important. It's interesting that you bring that up. It is totally interesting that you bring that up. The drama behind this movie is crazy. It's crazy. Okay? So this movie actually started out... And in essence, what we're seeing actually are two separate films. They're two separate movies that have been mashed together into some amalgamation of weirdness. That's ultimately what this movie is. So this movie actually started out as a film called Twisted Souls. And it was produced by Frank Farrell, Brendan Faulkner, and Thomas Durant, and directed by Faulkner and Durant. So you had two directors already starting out, okay? They made this movie, and ultimately they finished about 2/3 of it, but ultimately ended up in a whole bunch of legal shit that made this movie from not releasing. Okay, so and this was around, I'd say, probably 84. So this movie, even though it came out in 88, 86, 87, depending on kind of what country you were in. So like in Hong Kong, it came out in 87, but it didn't hit the US until 88. That's why, like, you're watching these characters and you're like, why are they dressed in clothing that maybe was popular, 5 or 6 years earlier? And that's the reason why. But ultimately, the financial backers behind this film basically prevented all the post work from getting done on this thing. So you were sitting with basically a 2/3 of a film, okay? The financial people behind it, the money people who, they always know stuff about how to make a movie, right? They always know how to make a movie, right? The financial people, the money people. So they hired another person, another director, Eugene Joseph, to direct more footage to piece it together. Because again, they only had 2/3 of a movie. And ultimately, the stuff that was added. So when you watch this movie, you'll notice that there's a section in the beginning that has like this little kid and the creepster in the woods and a werecat and that creepy guy, whoever the fuck his name is, and Kreon, not sure, the weirdo who's in like the mausoleum. All that stuff was filmed years later by this Eugene Joseph. Okay, so that stuff was added. The ending stuff was also added. So you, in essence, have this original film with these quote-unquote teenagers
who are like 38 years old.
Who are like 30, pushing 40. Yeah. That was filmed in 84, bookended by this new stuff that doesn't fit. Like, that's the biggest thing. It doesn't at all fit. And that's why when you watch this, there's so much weird shit that just, it doesn't flow. And you're just like, what am I watching? And your whole time you're like, why is this person just like like the one guy, the creepy fucker, Kreon, I think that's his name. He basically, is just doing like commentary on what these people with the quote unquote teenagers are doing. Okay. And it's so fucking weird. I've never heard of a movie that's gone through this much shit. Even
Gandalf the Homeless.
Well, even bad films like Birdemic and The Room and even big budget films like Catwoman, they even haven't had to deal with this level of shit. Especially like a financial backer getting another director to come in and basically reshoot another third of the film. Like that's the weirdest part, Well,
and that's a tricky thing because, like, something like Catwoman, before we knew what that was going to be, that was a huge tentpole for Warner Brothers. So that movie was known about. It was coming out, by hook or crook. But this movie, the like Spookies, they can sit on it for a while. Nobody really knows about Spookies. Maybe something was in Fangoria once or something, but but of course they want to make their money back. So it's like, oh well, we sit on this long enough. Let's just shoot some stuff to kind of patch in the holes and get this out wherever we can.
But the holes in this are not tiny holes.
They're
holes
gigantic.
In this are gigantic. Yeah. We're talking Grand Canyon size plot holes.
Maybe like if the Titanic went out with the iceberg hole already in it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's I could understand a couple like, B squad shots you got to get here and there, some insert stuff. But man, the level of just fuckery on this thing is ridiculous to try to make this thing work. That's why like you watch this movie and like you start off with the Spookies logo, and it should cue you in to just what you're getting into, okay? You start out with the logo Spookies, okay? It's all creepy looking and blood. And then we see the little skull guy show up where the eye's at, okay? And it looks terrifying. And then we zoom in, and the skull turns into a smile and winks at you. That right there. Yeah. It's, we got your money. That's literally all it is.
Yeah.
But like right there, that's enough to tell you, this film's going to be a shit show, and it is a shit show. Do you want to try going into the plot of this fucker?
Let's try.
Let's try this.
So, the movie opens up with like a little kid in the woods who seems like he's honoring a dead friend, but
no, he's not honoring a dead friend. He's pissed off.
Well, he puts like a treat like on the ground, and it says it's like in honor of somebody. I'm not sure. And then he's like, and then this pedophile's like, "Hey kid, you want to see a dead body?"
Well, it's not even that. Like the pedophile, again, creepy fucker in the woods. Okay, who we're supposed to feel for. Okay, because he gets killed in like 5 seconds later. But he's like, "Hey kid, what you doing in the woods?" He's like, "Nothing. Run away from home. Because my parents forgot my birthday."
And he's like, "Jackpot."
Yeah. It looks really terrible. Like the setup for this does not feel good, and maybe that was done on purpose to be like, hey, he's a creepy fucker in the woods. Don't worry, he gets killed by the werecat. And yeah, by the way, he gets killed by a werecat, not a werewolf. Not a werewolf, a werecat. Because werecats are 10 times scarier than werewolves. Every movie I've seen with a werewolf, I'm just like, you know what? This movie could really use a werecat to, piss in a box and kind of play with the sand and
just to mix
vomit up a hairball somewhere that's the size of a fist. That's what the movie really needs is a fucking werecat with a hook for a hand. Yeah.
And it's like, and then like, the little kid runs into like the mansion, and I guess like the shining ghosts are trying to make him think it's like a birthday party for him. And at this point I thought, oh, this is going to be Monster Squad. We're going to follow this kid the whole movie as he sees like monsters and how he's going to have to battle them. And then he's just gone. Yeah.
They kill him within like 10 minutes. Yeah. He sees his creepy fucking birthday. He sees a head in a box. Am I right there? He sees a head in a box?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I gotta be, there's a lot of shit in this film that kind of is all over the place. So I'm just
they throw a lot of stuff at you. Yeah.
He opens up a present. There's a fucking head in a box. It's this Kreon guy who's like, "Happy birthday, Billy." And then, he gets freaked out. The werecat chases him and kills him. Kills the boy in 10 seconds. In 10 minutes, basically. First 10 minutes. Boy's killed. Okay. That could have been the short film right there, by the way. Literally, and that's kind of what I feel with this movie is that the beginning part, the middle part, and the end part are 3 separate short films.
Yeah. Well, I feel like when they showed up to set, they were completely unprepared. It's like, what do we got? Well, we got the actor Ted. He's only here for 3 hours, so we got to have him be in the woods. And then we got the producer's son, and there's a Party City down the street. All right, well, let's make this up.
Oh, John. They didn't have Party City back in 1987 or 85, whenever.
There's a Kmart with a holiday section.
There you
Or
go.
a birthday
Kmart.
section, yeah.
There's a Kmart. We got a bunch of balloons. Do you have any helium? No.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Like, all the balloons were like dead. They had no helium.
Yeah, they must have been filming for hours, and no one thought to like buy extra balloons to like replenish.
Listen, we could not afford high float for these balloons. Yeah. We had to just go with standard. They die within an hour. High float, for the uninitiated, is the shit that you put in balloons that keeps those things afloat. I only know that because I worked at Party City for 3 years, and honestly, like it literally has the consistency of jizz. Okay, I'm not kidding. Honestly, I'm dead serious. You have this stuff called high float. You squirt it in the balloon. It really does have the consistency of semen, and it prevents air from getting out. It's extra. I guarantee you that the money people were like, listen, we only paid for like, a day's worth of shooting. We can't afford high float. This podcast was not sponsored by High Float or Party City. Just but yeah, so Billy's fucking dead. The werecat buries him alive.
Slowly.
He
could have gotten out of there at any time.
Oh yeah, totally could have got out of there.
I'm so glad that like Werner Herzog came on set and said, we have to watch this in real time or it's not authentic.
It has to be done in real time. You must, the werecat must show his dominance over the boy, and he must bury him like he buries a turd in his sandbox.
I bet the little boy's mom was on set too, being like, you sure are throwing a lot of dirt on my son's face.
Yeah, he's fine. He signed a waiver, right? Yeah, I guess we did sign the waiver.
Yeah.
Okay,
we own him.
He's good.
Yeah.
We own him now. So Billy dies, and then we get the rest of the movie that was shot in 84. The movie starts. The movie starts then. We're introduced to this bizarro character, Kreon, by the way, who's part of the extra stuff. Played by Felix Ward. You can't understand a damn thing that he's saying the entire time because apparently, aside from filming this extra shit after the fact, they forgot to spend money on, I don't know, microphones and recording equipment because he sounds like he's talking through like a tunnel.
Yeah.
The whole time.
That crap costs money.
Yeah, he's literally talking like this. I'm not even joking. Hello, my name is Kreon, and I am creepy, and I need my love. She must be revived. I'm not even joking. That's literally how the guys sound.
Is how I care for.
Yeah, so it is probably the worst sound design for a character ever. But hey, whatever. Okay, this movie doesn't give a shit. It just wants some money at this point. So yeah, we're introduced to our quote-unquote teenagers with their dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even joking by that way either. This literally is a group of, I'd say, 30 to 40-year-old men and women, and one guy who is probably pushing 50.
Yeah, people mock 90210, but I mean this is extra.
No. And it has your quintessential classic stereotypes. Do you want to go through our quintessential classic stereotypes and who each person is? Do you remember each person?
I'm trying. Well, I remember Duke.
Well, yeah, Duke is the
wannabe badass.
Wannabe badass.
The wannabe greaseball. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the Italian guy who's hot-headed all the time.
There's his whorish girlfriend.
Yes, his whorish
dim-witted
girlfriend.
whorish girlfriend.
With big titties.
Yeah.
They made sure of that, by the way. It's like, well, got to have the big titties in there.
Oh, yeah, they get grabbed a couple of times.
They do.
Yeah, and then there's like the nerd who's, the old guy.
The old
the
dad.
stiff. The stiff.
Dad. Who always gets in fights with Duke. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to win. You try fighting Duke, you're going to have a heart attack, dude. Like, that's what's going to happen. You know, you're already way past your bedtime. Bedtime was 7 o'clock. You're clearly already on the outs with this being like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And then there's who else? There's also bitchy British lady.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And her boyfriend, who's kind of just there to die. I'm missing someone else. Oh yeah, Dad's girlfriend. Their side piece.
Gee, I can't imagine why we don't remember these characters when they have such vivid like personalities.
I mean, I know their names, but I can tell you their names because I'm looking at Wikipedia. But truthfully, I don't remember any of these characters because aside from Duke, who literally his job is just to take things to 11 all the time, just like, hey, there's a ghost here.
Bada bang.
Bada bang. That's the only thing he got is bada bing, spaghetti, pizza.
Oh, Bologna.
Anyone who listens to us from Italy is going to be like, fuck those guys. I'm going to put a hit on them.
Oh, Chef Boyardee.
We really do love Italian people, truthfully.
Yes,
like,
yes.
honestly, we're just doing this for yucks. But anyway, yeah, none of these people are memorable aside from the dad because he's, 50. And clearly they don't know where they are. And this is before cell phones or GPS. So, they're pretty much fucked once they see a big creepy mansion that they decide, hey, we're going to party in here.
Let's go drink and fuck in this abandoned house. Yeah. Which is not abandoned. It is perfectly furnished. And
I was going to say, in terms of abandoned houses, this is very minimal on the abandoned scale. It looks like someone was just there. So you've got people breaking and entering at this point.
Yeah, it's a B&E.
It's a B&E. Yeah, so they're totally, going to go to jail if they survive. And, I mean, Dad should know that. He reads the Wall Street Journal. He should know what B&Es are. But yeah, so they enter this place, and our creepy master of ceremonies, Kreon, says, I will take their souls to revive my dead wife, who actually does not want to be revived and wants to die still.
It's not really my wife, right?
I think it's really his wife.
She just does not like him at all.
Does not like him.
Yeah.
At all. Doesn't want to be revived. Because apparently taking these people's souls will revive. We never actually see that happen, by the way. It's important to make that point there.
That also costs money.
Yeah, we never see anyone's soul get taken. We see them get killed, but we never actually see any, there's no, moment where you see, the soul come out of someone's body and, fly over to Kreon's creepy crypt area. That never happens, okay?
Yeah, they could have done some shitty-ass 1986 effects or 87 or whenever for that kind of thing. Yeah.
By the way, I love the fact I'm looking at Wikipedia here. The description of this is, meanwhile, a group of teenagers and some older adults come across. It's like, even Wikipedia is like, yeah, this is fucked up. But they come across basically this weirdo Ouija board thing. Okay, because they obviously in every abandoned house there's a creepy room somewhere where it has some creepy shit. And they come across this Ouija board thing, and apparently the Ouija board thing, the planchette, infects and possesses one of the adults, the female adults. And, again, I don't know specifically what the name is. Couldn't tell you. And Kreon kind of has control over her. And this also causes all of these weird creatures to start attacking them all. And it's pretty much like Game of Death style, where you go through one section and there's a creepy person you have to attack. And then you go to another section and there's another creepy person you have to attack. So it's literally like a video game at that point.
Yeah, and it's like hedge your bets. Just put in every spooky thing you can think of and rely on your special effects makeup artist for this movie to work whatsoever.
Which I gotta say, if I gotta give one thing to this movie, and this is probably the thing that got it made, the special effects in this are not bad at all. They're actually pretty decent, in terms of just the effects makeup work.
Yeah, it's the only redeeming thing about this whole production.
It really is. I mean, I'm not talking about the
that
large
Duke.
Duke. Duke really is the star of this show. I mean, he outshines even Kreon, probably because we can hear what he's saying. But yeah, some of the weird fucking monsters that are group of heroes who get picked off one by one, it include, and I'm not joking with this one, a muck men. I gotta talk about these. These are farting monsters.
Yeah, I thought about this. I think they think that that's like mud squeaking, but it's farts.
No, they're shit men. Okay, they're not muck men. They are shit men. They are farting all over the place, and it is very hard to take any of this seriously. One, I wasn't taking any of this seriously to begin with. The minute you had a werecat kill a 10-year-old and bury him like he's burying a turd in a cat box, I stopped taking this seriously. But really, we jumped the shark the minute we see the muckmen show up, and I think they attack. Who did they attack? Did they attack Duke?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I think that's how Duke gets killed, right? Is by the muckmen.
Yeah. Oh, Stunari, you're gonna mess with my gabagool. You jabroni?
Yeah, but the muckmen literally are these brown monsters that they have fart sounds every single time they're walking around.
Which is
That's literally the whole time.
Which is so strange because this movie obviously wasn't taking itself deathly serious, but the tone of it is that it's a spooky movie. Obviously, you're supposed to take it semi-seriously. So when you just throw in like farting, creatures, it's like, so this is a comedy now?
Oh yeah,
but no, it's not. Yeah.
No, well, you got to remember, John, we had the skull that winked at us and smiled. So, see, it might be more of a comedy than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some of the other monsters they encounter reptilian demons, giant spider, an arachnid woman. I thought the arachnid woman was pretty badass.
Yes.
That was
anything
pretty badass.
Arachnid that's not Wild Wild West is usually pretty cool.
Yeah. You mean the one thing that what was that? That was supposed to be the thing that Batman was supposed to face, was a giant spider.
Oh, Superman.
Oh, that's right, Superman. I forgot.
Because he was I think it was John Peters, just had a boner for spiders. Yeah,
he was doing 2 bumps of blow and was like, "Hey, you know what? I need a giant fucking spider here." Well, it doesn't really fit with this, but I need a spider. I get that, John, but we don't really need a spider. Fuck you. Okay, this movie's done. Yeah. Well, how about this thing, Wild Wild West? Giant spider.
Yeah. It makes even less sense here, sir. Yeah.
No, it does. Giant spider, steampunk giant spider. That's what I want. And Selma Hayek's ass.
That was a smart move, though.
That was smart. So yeah, they face these giant arachnid creatures, a skeletal witch, a Grim Reaper statue, because that has to happen. I think the Grim Reaper statue, if I remember correctly, that attacks the dad. They kills the dad. Because that has to happen. While this is going on, by the way, the wizard Kreon revives his dead wife because of all these souls, because that has to happen. And the dead wife doesn't want to be with Kreon because, she wanted to die. She wants to, I think that kind of tells you the marriage is done. When your wife is like, you know what? I'd rather be rotting and dead than be married to you.
Yeah, that's not a good sign for the future of the relationship.
Nah,
I prefer death.
I don't think you recover that from marriage counseling. I think that's pretty much start looking at OkCupid to find another dead wife to revive.
It's like, honey, don't worry. The doctor says he can do a surgery to get all of your cancer out. No, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
I'm just going to go. Me. Yeah.
Really? I mean, this is the cure, and then we could be together forever. No, I'm good. Let me die.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so. No, I'm thinking about you. I'm going places. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, this whole wife thing is just like, so, because obviously we get the kid at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we get introduced to this wizard, and then we get introduced to our main characters, and then it goes back to him, and he's like, and my wife,
yeah. Well,
what?
Well, it's basically like the way they tie it together is that Kreon's like controlling the one woman, and that's how he's getting the souls. again, we don't see any of this. He just tells us this, and we cut to, like, again, it's almost like you're watching, a horror host show. Like you're watching Elvira, and you cut immediately to Elvira in the middle of the movie. Like that's kind of the vibe you're getting from this. Is that we're cutting to Kreon in the middle of the movie when all this shit's happening with giant spiders and muck men and all sorts of crap, and then we see him, and he's just like, "Yes, now your soul shall be mine for my dead wife." And the dead wife gets revived and manages to escape. Oh, and also we find out, because, that's not weird enough at all, that the dead wife and the wizard have a vampire boy?
Oh my God, how did I fucking forget about that?
Did you miss that one?
Yeah. No, I'm remembering now.
Yeah, there's like a vampire boy, which that doesn't make any sense because Kreon clearly is some sort of warlock wizard. Isabel, who is the dead wife, she clearly is dead and not a vampire. So how the fuck do we get a little vampire boy in a monk's habit? How does that work? I don't get it.
Well, yeah, none of this movie. I feel like the tagline should be like, none of this makes sense. That should be Spookies. None of this makes sense.
Yeah. But eventually, the wife like stabs. I think she stabs Kreon in the face. I think it's a face. Even.
As you do. Yeah.
As one does.
But why isn't Kreon? Why isn't he like a vampire undertaker or something like that? Like a wizard seems
He's
like
a wizard.
It seems so out of place.
Well, yeah, it seems out of place. I mean, honestly, having Muckman is out of place. A werecat is out of place. But yeah, so Kreon gets kind of stabbed, and Isabel escapes, and she's chased by, and get this, because we got to throw it in there, a fucking zombie horde.
Well, yeah, I mean, this movie had to have a zombie horde. I would have been shocked if it didn't.
Well, let's be honest here, John. It's called Zombies Are Cheap to Make.
Mm-hmm.
You get anyone off the street, and there you go. You're like, hey, you want to be in a movie? Okay, yeah, I'll be in a movie. You ever acted before? No. Okay, we need you to be a zombie. Oh, awesome, great. Like, that's as easy as that. You just throw some makeup on them, go ahead and say, act like a zombie. Oh, cool, okay. It's the easiest monster to make. It is truly the easiest monster to make. Cheapest, too. So I'm not surprised by any of that. Isabel got to act by a bunch of zombies. This is after everyone, the teenagers, I say that in quotes, and older adults get killed, by the way. That whole thing ended. So, like, the movie that initially was made, Twisted Souls, that was done. Probably, I'd say, what would you say runtime-wise at? Maybe about at the 50-minute mark?
Yeah, at least. Wait, how long?
This movie's 85 minutes long.
85, yeah, at least.
The 50-minute mark.
50's generous, I think.
I'd say, 50's probably generous. So, yeah, it ended quick. They're done. The rest of it is all the extra shit they shot. So, it's again, if we're thinking about this in terms of what is this movie? This movie is 3 films mashed together. The birthday stuff at the beginning, this whole shit with the geriatric party, getting chased by a bunch of muckmen and spiders and all sorts of shit. That's Twisted Souls. And then the third movie is this thing where the bride's revived and she runs away. Okay, so she's getting chased by a bunch of fucking zombies. Okay, and she is able to get into a car by a random man. Here's the thing. This is funny because the entire time the whole thing was that the group of teenagers and geriatrics were lost. So there's random cars just driving by then. Where were they at? Okay. So yeah, she gets in the car and is driving away, and sure enough, it wouldn't be a shit film if we didn't have a camera freeze. So it turns out we look around, and the man driving the car is actually the werecat.
What?
Whoa!
Whoa!
And our camera freeze comes right with Kreon popping out of a fucking grave that for the entire time, no joke, the entire time the movie started, was pulsating. The grave was pulsating, had like a concrete slab, and it was basically pulsating itself. So it's clearly not concrete. It's like foam latex.
Yeah.
And he pops out, and he goes, ha, 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 and the camera freezes on him. And the credits roll.
See, that's where they blew the chance. The little kid should have just popped out of the grave, too, as the zombie went, I know, right? And then it should have freeze-framed.
Well, I mean, honestly, what you could have had was just Kreon pop out and just give a wink and a smile, and that would have been all it would have been needed. That's literally where we're at with this fucking film. Yeah, that's Spookies. Not a whole lot.
Oh. But you know what's funny about this thing is, if it had been its original premise and its original director, I think this movie might have been lost to time. I think that this movie is such a cult hit because of all the disastrous thing that went into the production of it. I think that makes it twice as famous as it ever would have been. Because people are, oh, you got to see Spookies, and I'll tell you like why, like after the movie, why this happened and that happened. You know, it's just such a talking point, this movie.
Well, I don't get why this movie is as popular as it is. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
like maybe it is because it's all cult. Maybe it is kind of like how we watch Troll 2 or The Room and kind of those sorts of movies where it's just like you clearly watching it for the shit that you're seeing. But I don't know. Maybe it's because we all also watched it like by ourselves, you know.
I think I got another guess on that too.
What's your other guess?
I think that it's easy to license. They license it cheap so they could get it out there, like for like HBO or even cable. And this movie is not really that hard to cut around in terms of like making it appropriate for network or cable television.
That's a really good point to make. Is because of the fact that the sucker is like 3 movies kind of smashed together. It does make it easy for commercial breaks. You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that.
And there's no excessive gore and like no titties. Like, I mean, titties get grabbed, but they're not exposed titties.
Yes, they're not exposed titties. So it's perfect for USA Network.
Yeah, exactly. Like USA at 1 a.m. on a Saturday. Yeah.
1 a.m. on a Saturday. Yeah. Right after you got done watching, Nightmare on Elm Street, probably 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah,
4 or 5. It was always 4 or 5. You never got like the other good ones, or you never got 2.
Or Freddy's Dead.
hey, I like Freddy's Dead.
I know.
Like it. You're like, I know. That's why I said it. but yeah, you know what? That's actually a good point to think about. Is just that because this movie was easy to license, probably was easy to cut around. For commercial, it probably did do well. It's like, hey, throw Spookies on because that's a good one to throw on, and this definitely is a movie that you can throw in the background at a Halloween party and you're fine. Like it's one of those types of films.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you do not need to really pay attention. It's like golf.
It truly is. Like this is a movie that you can just kind of throw on in the background at a Halloween party and you'll be like, yeah, we're having fun. But if you try watching this movie by yourself, I think it's hard. It's really, really hard to get this movie kind of attention. Because like the whole time I'm watching, I'm not going to lie to you, I was like nodding off because it's boring.
It's a bad sign when a movie is 85 minutes and you keep checking the runtime,
Yeah, my wife calls it the cell phone test. That's what she calls it. If she has, if she's watching a movie or a TV show and she has to look at her cell phone, it's not good. And it's one of those things where, and she's much more deliberate in about what kind of content she watches to begin with. So if she watches like a TV show, she's just like, I'm looking at my phone. It's not good. This movie, I was nodding off the whole time because I'm like, this is just boring. I don't care about anyone in this. And that's the thing too, is that if you don't care about what happens to these people, you're not going to care about the horror that occurs. You're not going to care about the monsters. You're just going to be like, oh, there's a monster. Hope it kills that person. And that's honestly on the better part. If you really do care, you will want that person to die. Like Duke, yeah, he's the only person I can say, yeah, I hope he gets it. And he does. But everyone else I don't really care about.
Oh, rest in peace, Duke. May your... Oh, I always forgot about it.
Always forget about it. Yeah. But this...
Yeah. And if you go to the movies thinking like, oh, well, even if the characters aren't that great, maybe there's going to be excessive gore and boobs, and you don't even get that.
Yeah, the whole time, like, just like Duke's girlfriend is we're gonna see boobs. No, you don't see them. You don't see them. You get close, but you don't see them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, I think the main thing going for it is just that it has so many different kinds of special effects rigs. I mean, this is one of those movies that definitely could only exist in the 80s. I can imagine this would probably be one that someone would decide, hey, let me go ahead and remake this shit. But if you did, it wouldn't work. It just really wouldn't, because this is literally an FX reel for someone. That's kind of it.
That's the best way to describe Spookies.
It's a great effects reel.
Yeah.
I've seen it referred to by Red Letter Media as boring Evil Dead, and you know what? They're not wrong. They're not
That's
fucking
fair.
wrong.
Yeah.
They're not fucking wrong. So I mean, Spookies is a good one to throw on for Halloween. One, if you're having a Halloween party, which of course, be safe. COVID's still a thing. And you want to throw a good movie on, not really a good movie, but just a movie on the background. Spookies is good. I'd probably bookend it with like good films, like Hellraiser and
when you start actually paying attention to the movie, you put something good on. But if you want something on like a projector with no sound, Spookies is good.
Spookies is good. Spookies is good for that. I think that's a good thing. Final thoughts on Spookies, John. I know this is a shorter episode, but honestly, there's not much to go over with fucking Spookies.
I would say that if you're fascinated by like the inner workings of, I don't want to say Hollywood because this is very independent, but just like how some movies like have issues in their production and how they try to weave things together and make things work, and sometimes they do work and sometimes they don't. Like this movie is very fascinating. So I would suggest, if you like that kind of stuff, watch the movie, then learn about it, and then be like, oh, well, that's why that happened. That if you're not into that kind of stuff, you might want to skip Spookies, unless you just like really bad movies.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say. I mean, my final thoughts are just that know what you're getting into with Spookies. Like I said that about a lot of movies, that you have to know what you're getting into, and that's true. Spookies is an acquired taste. The people I've known who've watched it, they are diehard horror fans to the point where they've seen everything. And Spookies is one of those rare gems where clearly the plot doesn't matter. The effects are awesome. And that's something I can't take away from it. The effects are pretty awesome. Even the shit men, as we're going to call them, not muck men, they're shit men. The effects in this are great. So if you're a fan of like 1980s special effects, Spookies, it has a lot in there for you. But if you're looking for something as a watch that you're going to pay attention to, this isn't it. This isn't it. You're just going to be like, what the fuck does this, why is this happening here at one time? And you're going to just get agitated. But here's one thing I will say. If you're watching this thing at a Halloween party, that's great if it's on the background. If you're watching this with a group of friends and you're doing a bad movie night, oh man.
There you go.
This is a fantastic, MS3K, MST3K type thing where, you're ripping on the film left and right. This is primed for that. I'd say this one, tied with Troll 2, good for that sort of thing. But watching it by yourself, watching it with your loved ones and being like, oh, we're going to watch Spookies tonight. Nah, it's not going to be good. But watch this with a group of friends who are drunk and, making fun of the film. You'll have a good time there. Awesome. Short and sweet. Short and sweet on this one. Cool.
Hey, we did not need to go 3 hours on Spookies.
No, it's fucking Spookies. Yeah. Well, we got some other things planned for our spooky season, don't we?
Indeed, yes.
No, we got like what, Hellraiser?
Yeah, we're gonna look at the whole Hellraiser series. We got top 5 horror movies from the 2010 to 2020.
Zero.
hey, there are some gems out there. There are some gems.
Zero.
Yeah. And a couple other things. And of course, now I'm spacing on the spot here. But I think we're gonna do haunted house films, because people seem to really love our like Halloween centric like type of movie episodes.
They do. So we got some stuff cooking for y'all. John, where can they find you at on the social medias?
You can find me at Unreal J Wolves. Come and talk to me. I'm so lonely on Twitter. And J-Dubs Video Nasties on YouTube. So check it out. Even if you watch the videos and you don't subscribe, but you watch them, please subscribe. It helps so much. So
Got
don't
anything
just watch
new
the videos,
coming
subscribe.
from J-Dubs?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of crazy stuff going on in my life, so I apologize to everybody that haven't gotten the third Dustin video out, but I'll be getting that out. I have a couple of interviews I don't want to say yet because they aren't finalized, and I burned myself on that in the past, but I got 1 or 2 interviews lined up here, and I got a check-in on Psycho coming soon. So spooky season continues over there.
That's good. Awesome. You can find me at Brian Content. I also run the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epicast Network, epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, or if you really love Spookies and we just crushed your dreams, I'm sorry. You can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. Be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you listen to audio, and we will see you next time.
Spookies 2, Duke's Revenge.
Oh, bada bing!
Oh, forgot about.